Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Gen Z's Guide to Recruiting Gen Z. My name is Min, and I am a senior product marketing manager here at Handshake, focusing on supporting our wonderful students. I'll be serving as your moderator today, keeping the vibes high, and hopefully share some insightful tidbits along the way. While we're waiting for folks to stream in, would love to drop or would love to see where all of you all are joining in from the chat. So please jump in, say hello. Let me know where you all are tuning in from. As a reminder, today's session will be recorded and shared with you all tomorrow. And this also, I'm excited to say this, but this isn't going to be your typical webinar. Here, we're skipping the buzzwords and going straight to the source. To students who have been navigating the job search, experiencing employers' brands firsthand, and deciding their next opportunities. Before we kind of dive in and introduce our panelists for this session, I really want to share some exciting news that will make this session that much more relevant. Before I do that, can I get some drum roll? Can I get some hype in the chat for this news? Handshake is now accessible to all job seekers, and not just within those, or not to those within our partner schools. So ultimately, what does this mean for you all? The biggest TLDR is that we are bringing in more quality candidates and ultimately more early talent job seekers so that you all tuning in can ultimately find the best fit for your hiring needs. I love the hype in the biggest TLDR. I know it was too exciting to try and keep it short, but I love all the hype in the chat. This is a big moment for us at Handshake, and hopefully this ultimately will be a big improvement and a big plus for you all. So without further ado, let's meet our panelists. Like I said, they are going to be candid, they're going to be blunt, and ultimately they're going to be real. We have both Katiana and Chanel joining us today. They have made it to the stage. Let's go. Okay, Tatiana, let's start with you. Would love a quick intro on your end.
Hello, everyone. My name is Katiana Joseph. I am a senior marketing major at the University of Central Florida, and I'm graduating this December. So I'm excited and just excited overall to be part of this panel for this event.
Cool. Chanel, I'll turn it to you.
Hey everyone, I'm Chanel Mao. I'm currently a senior at UC Berkeley studying cognitive science and media studies, and I'm really passionate about marketing, business, media, and innovation. Yeah, so nice to meet you all. So excited.
Yay. Okay, excited to have you both. We're going to dive in and let's start at the very beginning. Essentially, the first time you notice a company, let's go into like what starts to make you pay attention. So, at the beginning of your job search, what areas of a company do you start looking at first? Katiana, I'll cue you off to go first on this one.
Okay, honestly, I like to look at the company culture as well as if they have any opportunities. So let's say, for example, a company is hiring and the first role they hiring for is like a marketing intern. So I would look for like past employees that has been in the company for a long time, how long they have been in the company. That would indicate, okay, the company really care about the people, and because the company care about the people that works there, which is why they stay longer. So a company that allows me to possibly stay with them for a long period of time is really something that I'm looking for when I am looking throughout the job search and things like that.
I love that. Culture is always a big one. Chanel, curious as to your perspective.
Yeah, I also agree with company culture. I think that's a really big part of me since I work best in environments that really support me from within. Some examples include I usually just look through social media and see like the day in the life of this and this company, and I look at what they do. Are they happy? Do they look happy? Um, and then I start scouring over like their website and see if it sounds like a fun environment and look through their values and what they support.
Yes, yes, I love that. And it's a big plus on the do they look happy? That's always a big thing, I'm sure. Okay, so first impressions. I know that's a big focus, not only for you all as students, but also for our employers as well. So when you're scrolling through Handshake, what kind of employer content actually like makes you stop and makes you say, "Oh wow, I want to learn more about this company"? Janelle, I'll let you go first this time.
Yeah, so something when I'm like scrolling through Handshake, I think the ones that really stop me are the ones that are like really authentic and personal. And I remember seeing a video on Handshake a while back of like an employee like just going to their office, like a typical day. Like I don't want it to be anything like too glazed up, sugar coated. Like I just want you to tell me like if it's boring, just like tell me that too. And they were just talking projects they're working on. And yeah, just showing their desk setup just feels really casual, like literally day in the life of them working in that work environment. So the realer, the better.
I love
Yeah.
that, and we're already dropping some lingo. No glazing. We want the real, authentic. Katiana,
Okay, so for me, I like to see informational video just because, like, based on the video that I see on Handshake, it would be like a video that tells you about the company values, what the company stand for. So me watching those type of videos would kind of give me like information or what should be expected of me if I were to apply for that specific job. And also too, I like when company like post here and there motivational quote as well. So it doesn't have to
mm,
necessarily be like a video. It could be like a simple post that say, hey, keep going, it's not easy, but keep going. You got this. So like informational videos that tells you about the company and motivational for sure. Those are the things that really stop me and I'm like, okay, let me take a look and just read more in depth and watch the entire video through.
I
Yeah.
love that. And Katiana, I'll kind of keep it with you here because you mentioned something is one of the first things you'll look at is like company values and things like that. So, how important is that? Company values, social stance, or like the even the company's mission. How important is that to you when you're deciding where to try and apply?
Yeah, that is very important to me just because like I mentioned previously, like if you able, me specifically, if I'm able to know what the company stand for and now I can kind of do like a internal like analyzing, know, okay, this is what the company stand for, what do I stand for? And if I see like an alignment between the two, then I can be like, okay, I can definitely thrive at this company just because we kind of like stand for the same thing. So we all at the end of the day trying to push the same message. So that is very important to me because it has to be aligned. Other than that, you will not gonna be as motivated to work for that company.
I love that. And Chanel, I'm actually going to kick it to you for this one, for this next question. So at the outset, we mentioned we're keeping vibes high. Have you ever decided to apply somewhere because the vibes were high, just based on some of that first impression that you had? And ultimately, what made it feel that way?
That's a good question. I think some good examples, like yes, I do like if I see good vibes, I like would want to apply. Like for example, there's a couple companies that it seems like they post about their work environment and just their app or brand as a whole, and it seems like they have really good humor, and I just apply because that means they're funny people inside and I could laugh with them. So as long as really plain like that. Like if I just see good vibes, I would apply, and if I don't, then I usually would just well, I'll just stray a little away from them. But if I'm out of options, I still apply. So
I love that. And Katiana, real quick, I would love to hear kind of your take on that as well. Is like, have you ever taken a look at a company and just said, I really think I could be a good fit here, just based on like really good vibes, based on what you're seeing?
So honestly, I actually haven't just because like when I'm applying for a job, I typically look like at the job post and see what I'm applying for. But like if I were to look for that, I would look for like maybe reviews from like past employees. So I think it's very important.
Mm,
Like even though like if a company gonna have to let somebody go from a job, they should still keep like a positive like communication because you never know that person can definitely spread the word about your company. So like because of that, if you keep like a open communication between whoever used to work for you, they can definitely tell other people about, hey, I work for this great company even though I wasn't able to stay there for a long time, but I would definitely recommend that. So that's something I would look for.
Love that. Okay, so we touched on a little bit of content, but let's dive into content a little bit deeper. Katiana, you mentioned obviously one of the first places you're looking at is like the job posting. What makes a job posting feel really interesting to you versus like what might you see in a job posting that you're like, oh, this is giving me more questions than anything.
Yes, so I like to see jobs that are very specific. So I'm a marketing major, as I mentioned previously. So when I'm applying, if the job description say, okay, this is specifically for marketing major, this is what you will be working with, and it basically align with all the skill that I gained. Let's say, for example, the job says it require a bachelor degree. That's something I will be attained. So I know, okay, this is a very good job that I could possibly get into, but the company, well, the job that I would definitely feel like that for the what was the second part of the question?
Kind of what makes you, or what are you seeing that maybe kind of gives you more questions than anything of like versus making the job post feel really interesting, making you feel really excited to apply?
Okay, yeah, but other things that really make me kind of question the job is sometimes I would see like different job posting, keep reposting every once in a while. So that kind of show me maybe it's a maybe that the job might not necessarily hiring people at the time. So they just might have it posted just cause. So I feel like that's a negative view for like someone who are applying for a job because let's say, for example, I just applied for the exact same job and then a couple hours or a couple days later I see the same job we posted and it shows that people already apply, so that could kind of like throw me off a little bit.
I love that. Chanel, kind of same question for you. Ultimately, what makes a job post feel really interesting for you?
Yeah, so if it's in like something that makes a job post feel interesting is if it taps into my interests or like the career path of my interest in general. So like for example, like personally for me, if the role is tied to something like more innovative or like in the area I'm passionate about, like media, entertainment, and broadly speaking, like social media in general, then that like really immediately grabs my attention. I also really like to work on creative roles, but I also don't mind a little bit of sprinkling of technical stuff in there too.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, it just feels it's more motivating than just like working on like projects that probably won't make much impact. And forgettable posts is perhaps the opposite, like things that aren't that meaningful and job descriptions that don't feel like I'm making much of an impact.
I love that. Okay, Tatiana, I will pose this question to you first. So how do you feel about employers using content to recruit? What do you think works there? When are you really taking a look at that content? Is it super early on? Is it more after of like you've applied and really starting to dive into that content?
I think it really works sometime if the company is showing stories from people who work there. So let's say they have a couple employees who are willing to do like a quick video. It could be like, oh, this is what I do on a daily basis. This is, my work office. I come here from 9 to 5. At 10, this is what I do. 11, this is what I do. So kind of like a very specific detail of what you do in that specific role. So when I see that, it's kind of make me think like, oh, let me think about this. I could possibly see myself doing the same exact thing or be a part of that culture just because it allow employees to do X, Y, and Z at specific hours, or it just shows like we are, or example, for example, if it show like a video that's like, oh, we work as a team at this specific time, we have meeting at this, specific time. It just showed me like, okay, so when you work for the company, you're not just working there by yourself, but if you need help, you can also, ask help from your coworkers as well and whoever is supervising you. So I think it works as long as the company is getting the story from people that actually work for the company, not just getting random people. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I love that closing statement. It's like as long as you're kind of showcasing the actual employees and the actual people that are doing the work on a day-to-day basis.
Mhm.
Chanel, same question for you. And you kind of touched on this a little bit and when you're kind of talking about the day in the life video that you came across. How do you feel about employers using content?
In general, like just using content.
Yep, using
I
content to specifically recruit.
I see. Yeah. Well, there's like two types of videos I've usually seen. Some of them, like, so like the positive ones I really like is when they, once again, like I mentioned earlier, when they showcase the day in the life and just in general, like their work environment authentically and genuinely. Just showing like there sometimes days will be moving slower than the others, and some other days there could be lots of events happening. But other times, like a couple times, like it feels like they're forcefully like appealing to the younger generation, and it just feels like advertisements, and that's when it's like, well, I know what you're doing. So um, the first option, yeah.
No, I love that, and that's one of the things that I have always preached since working with students here at Handshake is students are really quick to call out if you are BSing. And it never fails to amaze me how quickly students are able to pick up on that. I also saw this a couple of times in the chat, and so I'm glad we're able to get to this question. But um, Chanel, I'll start with you. Are there certain words, phrases, or even messages that excite you when seeing them from employers?
Yes, some words, like just words, like messages I would see that excite me. I would say when they, whenever they mention media, because that's like my interest zone, so I know that I can probably enjoy working my time in this role. And also, if they mention something that I also want to learn more of, don't really have something on the top of my head, but as sometimes there's like in certain product marketing roles, I'm still like an amateur in PM in general, but I also want to gain this experience by working this role. And I know a lot of companies, it's difficult to get experience by having
Mm,
experience in the loophole, but like I accept any opportunity. So like a mixture of something I really like already, and the other half is something I want to learn more about. And that's the kind of message I look for.
awesome. And Tatiana, same question for you. Are there certain words, phrases, or messages that excite you?
I would say company that promote a lot of work life balance. So let's say, for example, a company has this option where you can work from hybrid as well as in the office. You could be in the office for like 2 days a week, and then out of the other 3 days you could be like home working. So that way they understand like, okay, even though you're working for my company, I also understand you have other things going on that that you might be responsible for. So things like that. For example, for me, even though like I'm graduating soon, but like if I'm working for a company that understand, okay, she's a student right now, and the best thing that could work for her maybe like a hybrid opportunity where she can come to the office 1 day a week to get the experience as well as maybe doing something online, but she's still working. So things like that that give you like the option where you can still do what you do on a daily basis, like, but you can still work for the company as well because they understand that, if that makes sense. I think.
That does,
Yeah.
that does.
The
Yeah.
work
And
balance.
yeah, and it again, it ultimately, like to your point, it comes down to that work-life balance, especially when you're kind of getting started out and you're trying to figure out, your career, and you want, I get it, you want a little bit of that balance there.
Mhm.
Okay, so we went through content, we went through first impressions. Um, let's say we are at a stage where now an employer has earned both of you all's interest. Let's focus on the experience after you've shown that interest.
Mhm.
Katiana, what makes you feel supported during the job search or even the entire recruiting process?
Okay, so for me, I feel like, well, based on my experience, I usually like would want like the company to give me like a clear communication. So let's say, for example, I apply for a job and, a couple days later we did the interview, but, they still, we couldn't do an interview with other people as well. I would want that communication. Hey, we are still, thinking about you. We're just doing more interviews, or even if I don't get the job, I would, be more understanding to hear like, hey, we understand we can't really like give you this opportunity right now, but we don't, well, we understand we can give you this opportunity right now, but this is what's going on. And like, let's say, for example, a lot of the message that I would receive is like, oh, unfortunately, we have moved on with like another candidate. So I would want like whoever sent me that email to be like, hey, this is what you did in the interview, and this is what I should have expect from you. But in the future, this is some things you can consider, so that way you can be a better, candidate for the next employers. Because like, if you're telling me we're moving forward with somebody else, but I don't really know what exactly I'm doing wrong, then it's just gonna make me go through the same process without knowing what I'm doing wrong. So just like this communication of, hey, you could do X, Y, and Z for the future, just FYI. So
No,
those are,
I love that. I
yeah.
love that. It's like clear timeline, clear expectations, and the feedback. I think the feedback is something that I think everyone, yeah, I see it in the chat too. I think feedback is a big thing. I'm sure that you all are looking for. Chanel, what makes you feel supported during the job search or the entire recruiting process?
Right. So, building on Katiana, I also really value communication. It makes me a little sad when sometimes I apply and they just never respond to me again. And I'm like, well, where'd you guys go? Or like you just tell me I got rejected. Like I can just like, mark that on my like sheets, like Google Sheets. And also another thing that makes me really supported during the whole job searching process is also like when I coffee chat people, whether it's employees, recruiters, just people in general from the company, and they gave me like good tips. Um, and those kind of things like really help me out and makes me understand that they actually do want to help out these people and also, hope for the best for them. So yeah.
Yep. And then I know, a lot of you all have obviously access to resources through your career centers. Employers will also, host career fairs, things like that. So do all of these events, do things like resume helps, Q&A sessions, networking sessions, feel valuable to you? And Katiana, I'll let you lead off this one.
Yeah, it does. So like I go to UCF, and one of the things they really big on is networking, and they have a specific session where if you take those specific class, you are able to meet with people who are already in the industry. So like those people who come from those big company that take the time out of the day to just, speak to the student, give them like the knowledge and what to expect and what not to expect, are really helpful, and especially the resume review as well. Because I could think, like, okay, my resume look good, but then when I see like a professional who's been in the industry for a long time, they just like, oh, maybe you should add this, maybe you should remove that instead of that. So I feel like those really help me when it comes to having the right information, and also making sure like my resume kind of like align with that specific job I'm applying for. So it does help, but you just have to make sure like you tailor it to you, and also show what you like based on what you learn from those sessions, like how can you put it to make it you, if that makes sense. Yeah, so it does.
Yep. 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 And Chanel, same question. How do you feel about sessions like resume help sessions, Q&As, networking? How do you feel that's valuable to kind of your job search process?
Yeah, I feel like they're really like it feels really personalized and interactive for me. I have had someone done a resume review for me, and it really shows that they want to pray for the best for me and also help me tailor my resume to and teach like give me advice on how to tailor my resume to their company. For networking sessions, I used to not like them mostly because I was a little shy. So it was a little scary when I see lots of people and they're all just saying the generic like, "Hi, here's my resume," blah blah blah. But now I really like them. I think it really helps to um like broadly wise, it helps you explore around different jobs, different companies, and see how like you can see like that's your first impression in the networking events. You kind of see like whether they are good vibes from there, and if the people standing at those tables are like nice, do they feel welcoming and such. So yeah.
I love that. And Chanel, a quick question on that, because we have a lot of employers kind of tuning in. How can employers help you or any other student not feel shy at networking events?
I think one of the main things is to really be conversational and real, and that sounds really cliche, but like genuinely, like a lot of times, like if it doesn't feel like I'm being interrogated or interviewed already, like on the spot in the networking event, like they're judging me already, and if it feels more like a conversation, then makes me feel more like supported and seen
Mm,
and welcome in the whole process. So that's what I really look for.
I love that. And then Katiana, have you have you ever had a great interview experience and interview process with an employer, and what made it feel that way?
Yes, I actually had. So, like, first thing first, when I came to the interview, the lady who was interviewing me, she was like, okay, it's a good sign you early. And before she started the interview, she was like, okay, just so you know, I know you might be nervous, but take a deep breath and then just take a minute. So before we start the interview. So she didn't really just dive into the interview. She took her time with me, and then she went into telling me about herself, the company culture, and then she went on to ask about myself. And the fact that she made me feel so comfortable and tell me, I know you're nervous, and she can put herself in my shoes to when she probably used to have those type of interview, made me feel like, okay, I really want to be a part of this because she really cared. Like she didn't really have to say or that she could have just went straight to the interview, but she told me like, take a deep breath. You don't have to be nervous. This is just a conversation and you're gonna do great. So that was really like a great experience overall. So like I'm very grateful for her, and yeah, it was amazing. It was something different that I experienced compared to other interviews that I had in the past.
Oh, that's awesome. Whoever that interviewer was, shout out to them
Yeah.
because
That's
that
good.
is such a yeah, that's such a great way to start an interview, especially, if it's a nervous student on the other side, it's just making them feel comfortable and welcomed. And I love that. Chanel, have you ever had a great interview experience?
Yes, actually, I'm like thinking. So I didn't really have many interviews, but one of my most notable interview experiences is when it feels very conversational. Like a specific example is when I'm like talking about something and they can like go on a not like a tangent, but like they can really build off of what I just said, and yeah, add on whatever their experience or like their response to that and ask like a follow-up question to what I just mentioned. So it doesn't feel like I have to it feels less of like an interview and just more like a conversation,
Mm,
and less of have to use like a typical generic star format, but more of, oh yes, I do this, blah blah blah, and they also respond with something, and it just feels like they're interested in listening to what I say
mhm.
instead of taking notes on the side. So that's what I feel like would be a good interview experience, and hopefully I can also get more of these in the future too.
Oh, I am sure there are plenty in your future, Chanel. Okay, so we're kind of coming up on close to the end of our time. I do have a couple final questions for you all. Um, Chanel, we'll stay with you for this first one. This is a big one, no pressure. I'm just joking. What indicates that a company is really invested in their early talent program, invested in you as a potential employee? What specifically indicates that for you?
So when I see, let me think. When I see like they have like good mentorship from like employees and they really give these opportunities to interns or like potential like employees slash interns, and not just like busy work. It's not like you're just grabbing coffee for them, but like they're actually making an impact. And if I see like past interns have also returned like full time or have advance into more leadership roles, that is also a strong sign that the company is also thinking like long term about how they want to develop like potential people. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, that long-term indication is a big one that we hear a lot from other students as well. Katiana, same question. What indicates that a company is really invested in their early talent?
I had to agree with Chanel because like when I see like she mentioned like internship opportunity networking, when I see that it really shows the company is open to students who are just, coming into the workforce, not people who already has the experience. So that is a good indicator as okay, they really invested. So basically everything Chanel just said, but yeah.
Incredible. Okay, so thank you so much to the both of you for all of your insights today. Chat, everyone, let's give Katiana and Chanel a big round of applause. They have been awesome in sharing insights and into to kind of what you all are caring about, things like that. So I have one final question. As a parting gift for our audience, if you could give one piece of advice to everyone here about how to better connect with students like yourself, what would it be? Katiana, you first.
Yes, so for me, I would say try to do quick videos. And when you do those videos, don't be too like, don't edit it too much where it's like it has to be perfect. Like let's say for example, you say something wrong. It's okay to keep that portion because it add that relatable aspect of it. So just, do quick form videos because sometimes I personally like to see videos instead of like a long text. It
Mm.
I don't know. My attention span is really not that good, so it just make me like be able to like see the video as well as when you do the video, make sure you also add caption. Because yes, I could understand the video, but when I see the visual text as well in the video, it just make me like, okay, I'm looking at the text, I'm looking at the message, I'm hearing the message. Now I'm definitely gaining and retaining that information. So things like that. Also advice about how to get the job, for example, these are the 5 tips that work. This is how these are the 5 top resume that got into my company, things like that. It doesn't have to be like you showing like people actual resume, but the main key stuff that you look for when you are like when you are recruiting someone, those are the things that work and that people was able to successfully get into your company. Stuff like that really works well, and I would want to see that from employers. Yeah.
That's awesome. And transparently, my attention span is also not that great. So you are not alone. Chanel, what piece of advice would you like to leave everyone?
Yeah, I Katiana really put it well. Adding on, I would say like having like a well-filmed video, make sure it's like accessible. Definitely emphasis on closed captioning. I feel like I don't remember if Handshake has like auto on the videos, but I think if not, they're really easy to add. It helps a little more with like accessibility. Like it's easy for me to read and understand and watch the video. Also like a well-filmed video in general, like if they're it feels less of like an advertisement, but more like just trying to like get to know me as a candidate and as a potential employee at your company a little better and giving me good tips, good advice, things that I can really that can really help me and stuff that I usually won't be able to find on Google or like if I something that I would be able to learn instead of I would
Mhm.
just search it at GPT and probably find the answer. So something like that along those lines, I think would be my biggest advice to like everyone on Handshake in general. Yeah.
Incredible. Again, thank you both for the time, for the insights. Let's give them an encore. As a reminder to everyone, we'll be sharing a recap and resources following this session. In the meantime, as we close, I have a challenge for you all. And the challenge is, drum roll, take at least one of these insights that our wonderful panelists, Katiana and Chanel, shared and bring it back to your teams, whether it's something big, whether it's something small. Any insight is good insight. And also be sure to stick around and join our next session, Content That Clicks, Social Media Do's and Don'ts. Thank you all. Katiana, Chanel, you both are awesome. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next session. Bye.
Bye.